Hi, and welcome to Riffs on Writing, where we answer your writing and publishing questions in 5 minutes or less, except when we have a special guest, because we are asking them questions. So for our author spotlight, we have Mollie Ann Cox. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited that you're here, Mollie. Mollie writes cozy mysteries, historical mysteries. She used to write cookbooks, all kinds of cool stuff. So her new book is coming out in February?
February 10th.
Excellent. Tell us about it.
It's the second book in the Eliza Hamilton series. The first book was The Lace Widow. And the next book is, I don't know, it's The Widow Hamilton. Is it backwards?
Nope.
It's actually
fine. Okay. And it's a little different from the first book. I think it's a little darker and more suspenseful than the first book. It involves a missing woman. So yeah, it's pretty dark. And it's set in New York in 1806, which is shortly after Alexander Hamilton dies, which he dies in 1804. My whole series is set around after he dies, because I found her life to be very interesting after he passes away. She went on and, accomplished great things, starting the first orphanage in New York City, which still exists, and things like that. So
she is fascinating. I've read The Lace Widow and I'm reading the new ones. I'm very excited. They're both very good. Yeah, this one is darker, but I like it. So
my niece is a huge Hamilton fan, so much so that she memorized all of the whole music, the whole play, and then her parents bought her tickets to go to New York to see it. So she's definitely, I know what I'm getting her for the holidays. But I want to know, and so you've sort of answered it, but the question is, why do you write?
I've thought about this for a long time, and I often have to talk myself back into it. So many times, I feel very down about the business aspect of writing, and I come back to the fact that I just really love it, and I can't think of another reason to do it. There's no riches involved for most of us. There's not really popularity, for most of us. We're sitting alone in a room for hours. And if you don't love it, there's just really no reason to do it.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, and so Mollie, tell us about what your writing ritual is. What does your writing practice look like? I know you have one, so tell us about how that works for you.
Well, I will tell you first that I think there are a lot of different ways to go about it. And I have had to switch gears over time in my life, like from when my kids were little, and it was about, getting them on the school bus and then writing. And now I have a full-time job and I get up every morning between 4:30 and 5, and I write before I go to work. And that works for me. And I kind of keep odd hours these days. I'm in bed by, 9:00, and I may not be sleeping, but I'm there. And because I get up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah. Do you have a certain amount of time you spend or a certain word count you want to hit each day? How do you measure what amount of time you're giving to it?
Yeah, usually it's about 1,000 words a day.
Okay. That's very doable. I find that people freak out when they hear that number, but it's a lot and not that much at the same time.
Right. At least a chapter, right? So I'm a very linear writer, and I write chapter after chapter after I write like that, which is really interesting because, as you can see, I'm not a linear person. I have all this junk behind me, and I'm in the middle of a move, but it's usually about a chapter.
That's very cool. Yeah. We've had people say they write 500 words a day. We've had people say we had one person say they write very early in the morning also, and they have a music schedule that they do. It just differs for everybody, and it does differ based on when you're
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you are in
yeah.
life, right? What's happening.
Yeah.
So
Also, I like the idea that you said that you had to change it, because I think that people get very set in this one idea that they have to get up very early in the morning and that's when they write and that's it. But I don't, I used to be more awake in the mornings and do all of my writing and work in the mornings. But I also worked as a personal trainer for a long time, and I would have clients as early as 3:00 in the morning, 6:00 in the morning. I know. And now I find that my best time is sort of after I don't have to deal with anybody, and I can do this at night. And I like it. And even if I'm tired, that's sort of when I think my brain relaxes and I can just put words on paper or on my computer screen. But what I want to know too is, because this is one of those things where, we've all done those, right? Like a booth and sold our books, and people come and ask you questions and everything. And you're always, I don't know, sometimes I just make up answers, I think. But what is, if like early on, if someone gave you a piece of advice, like what is the one piece of advice that you wish you had gotten early on? Because I'm sure it's different now.
Yeah, I think early on, it would have been nice to know that nobody else really cares about your career as much as you do. I think a lot of writers are like all about getting that agent. And when they get the agent, they think great things are going to happen. And I've had 2 agents, and they've both been lovely people, but they were not as interested in my career as I am, And I think it's really good to know, going into publishing. My daughter is querying agents now, and I think it's really good. I hope I provided some kind of grounding in this area, at least. But yeah, that for sure. I wish I had known that. And I wish indie publishing, for example, was around when I first started, I admire the indie publishers and indie writers so much.
Yeah. A whole different world than when we started all this stuff. So,
but I think that is the key, is that no one cares as much about you and what you're doing as you do.
Right.
And I think that I really like that, because it's so true. It is so true.
Yeah, we all wish that we were going to be discovered and, plucked out of everywhere and put into the Times Square and have our names up there, and everybody was going to make it happen for us. I still wish that, but
I know I'm still delusional, but okay.
Mostly I'm just like, okay, we have to send the newsletter now. So that's what we do, right? So
yeah, I mean, you're sort of at the mercy of your editors and the house that you're with. And I was with Kensington for years, and then my editor quit. And then my editor at the publisher I'm at now, she quit. And so you don't know if you're going to get another editor to continue the series or not.
No. And I was indie published for years, and now I have a publisher, and they redid everything that I had set up before. So I have to adjust my whole way of working, because it's not that way. And Caroline has a traditional publisher, and
my publicist quit.
Oh gosh.
There we are. It's all there. Yeah. Well, Mollie, what are you working on now, if you're talking about it?
Well, I don't usually talk about what I'm working on too much, but I will say it's a different genre. I'm working in magical realism, and I think I first, at the beginning of this year, I was working on a very, very dark, suspenseful novel, like psychological suspense.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me sad. Mm-hmm. So I decided, to do what I love, to write about what I love. Mm-hmm. And usually I can write about anything, but the year and all of the stuff that's been going on politically and economically, it's just been really hard to get into the right headspace. So I thought, well, I'm just going to write a story for me and see where it goes. And I have a story about these Appalachian weavers who also happen to be witches. Now they're real witches. They're not the fantasy kind of witches.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to read it.
I'd read that for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
I'm excited.
That's amazing.
Well, so we usually ask everybody to recommend one book on writing that you have found helpful. It can be anything. Do you have one that you would recommend?
I do. It's an old one. It's Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Ginsburg.
Mm-hmm.
Goldberg. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's, I like that approach to writing. And I go back to that book over and over again. So
I like it. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites too. Yeah. Such a good one. Well, thank you for being with us, Mollie. You're just like up the road from me, but it's fun to do the Zoom calls.
Yeah.
We don't have to cross the border because we might not get back. So just to see.
True. That's true. Oh gosh.
But thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And if you have any questions for Mollie, drop them into the comments and we'll see if she'll answer them. And in the meantime, buy all of Mollie's books.
Yeah. Which are also linked in the show notes.
Yes, that's right. They'll be down in the comments. Thank you, and until next time.